Welcome to the Inside Integration Podcast. My name is Chris, and always I am joined by my partner Jason.
What's up, everybody?
And on our special, this is going to be like your holiday special.
Our first Thanksgiving
It's
special,
our
our first holiday
first.
special. Oh my God, think of all of the Chiron opportunities that you have, Chris. Like, if you haven't paid attention at all to any of the imaging that goes along with our show, just hit up YouTube sometime or check out our Instagram feed. I try to grab snapshots of the really good ones off of there, but the art direction that my friend Mr. Barlow is responsible for here is par excellence.
Well,
So it's a show in itself. So I'm grateful. I'm going to start out there. Our Thanksgiving show. I'm thankful to you, Chris, for all of the amazing hours that you spend away from your children and your family to goof around, putting our faces in weird places.
well, I'm grateful for time away from my children and family as well, Jason. Thanks for.
Okay,
I'm only
perfect.
kidding.
It's a win-win. Look at that.
Love them immensely. Super grateful for them. But thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, it's definitely one of the highlights of my day to whip up some dumb thumbnail with me and Jason's heads on it to try and get more
Man,
engagement. But
the dealing thankful that you put that together.
I
But
should
also,
I should post what I should start doing is I should start posting what the original clip art was that we slapped our faces on, because I believe it was like two children in like some war torn province somewhere, which is not something to joke about on the gratitude episode of our show, but
no.
it's to slap our dumb faces in there and mask everything out so it looks like we're two children,
Yeah, it looks
very
like
sad.
we're lost at sea. Yeah, well, the one of you sitting on the bench as Pablo Escobar for the solo episode. Again, chef's kiss. Mwah.
Yeah, there you go.
Love that. So
Oh,
again,
thank you.
there's my plug for our YouTube channel and our Instagram and all that stuff. But it's worth a look. Always makes me laugh.
Well, I'm thankful for you wanting to do this dumb thing with me every week now for the last 45 weeks. Who knows how much longer it's going to last? We still got to see what's coming down the pipe and everything else. I mean, at the very least, I'm going to have to change all of these graphics that you're seeing in front of you if you're watching the show. Have to figure out how to make the progressive logo slowly go behind us in an ominous way, just like we're doing with our current one and all that. So looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna
It'd be
stay
like a
with you as long as we
hands.
can.
It'd be like Master of Puppets. You can have like the progressive logo come up behind us with the clover sort of ominously behind that with like hands over us and strings coming down to us and dance chicken dance. Get out there. Make it happen.
It's just a complete like it's one of those like octagon, like looks like a wallpaper or whatever, but if you look real close it's actually our org chart of how all the
Oh wow,
stuff
you don't know. Yeah, well, that's possible. I mean, this it looks definitely like a very large machine from the outside. I haven't had a chance to kick the tires yet or look behind the palace walls, but it's very clear that there's a major footprint there. So again, I think I'm
yeah,
excited about that,
it's
and to
exciting.
tie it all into this, I'm thankful for the opportunity to learn more about cool stuff out there.
Yeah, it seems like a great group of people excited to be a part of it, and not just saying that so I can keep my job, but it really, yeah, it's exciting. These are exciting times, and the new year is going to be definitely a sprint. So we'll see what happens
Yeah.
there.
Well, I mean, let's talk about again. I'm just going to tie everything into gratitude. I'm so
It's
grateful
the theme of the
that
show,
Bose,
baby.
I know, I'm so grateful that Bose bought Macintosh. I needed some excitement in my life. I needed something else to think about. I needed to scratch my head. I needed to watch a bunch of hi-fi people trip out
Oh man.
because
Whew.
immediately somehow the Macintosh brand product in the box is immediately tainted because the guys at MIT decided to push their chips in and take over Macintosh. And
Right.
if you don't know what I'm referring to, a little known secret, or maybe it's not a secret, but
Worst kept.
the school MIT actually is the major shareholder of Bose Corporation. So on paper, they say that they don't have any influence over what happens with the board or what the company does, but they kind of sound like they're too smart for that. I don't know what your take is on that, Chris, but pretty wild update in my opinion.
I am. I'm grateful for all the takes on in the custom integrator world that's public. There's a lot of very interesting ones. There's a lot of rational, sane ones for sure, but they're definitely in the minority of the sky is falling and this revered brand with blue gauges is going to come to a crashing halt. I don't think so because I don't
No,
think that anybody wants to not make money. You would
they want to
imagine.
put more Macintosh stereos in more cars.
Yeah,
That's all they care about.
absolutely. And yeah, it's been an interesting take. I mean, I love Macintosh. I dealt with them in installs and stuff for a long time, and I know the perception of Bose is not it's not that great, at least in the CI world. But
Got a rhyme made out of them. I mean, come
yeah,
on.
well, and yeah, what is it? All highs,
Yeah, no highs,
no
no
highs, all,
lows.
yeah, that's it. Hey, I mean, that meme goes back 30 years, Jason. So here we.
Oh, it goes a lot longer than that, and that's okay. I mean, you had to be some far out, stereo salesman in the '70s, dipping out to do whatever mind expanding chemicals you're into that day to
Right.
come back on the floor and sell some 501s and a turntable or
Yep.
or Iowa tape deck or whatever they were up to in those days. I'm glad the industry has moved on from some of those perceptions.
We're getting past
But
that, right?
but there, you can't really ignore the layer and the strata. It's like if you look back in time when they excavate for dinosaurs and they can look at like the different periods. There is a period of time in AV that has
100%.
that is drug laced
Yep.
for sure. Like
we're gonna
there's
we're gonna
some
build
residue.
we're gonna build these speakers. We're gonna put 21 speakers, very small ones, in this thing, and we're gonna make it so that you can put it in the corner, and it's gonna bounce sound all over. It's gonna fill your room, and then we're gonna hawk it on every late night news show and everybody else, and that's what your customers are gonna ask for the next 10 years or so. Like, well, what
Oh
about this
man.
system? It's like, woof, okay. Well, hey, a lot of people learned how to snake wires because of those rear speakers, right? Like this is the gratitude show, Jason. Let's look on the bright side. And
I
you know
learned a lot by mounting IntelliCubes on the wall
yeah,
and the Bose Acoustimass systems and
yes,
that terrible subwoofer and oh my God, man.
let's make, yeah, we're gonna snake some wires. we're gonna snake some lamp cord down the wall and try and make that hole a little bit less than 1.5 inches that you have to mount the thing. And then we're gonna bring all those wires to wherever the sub is, because that prevents you from ever swapping in any other kind of system whatsoever.
Right. Well, and
So beautiful.
the sales guy's going to upgrade your client with the monster cable prefab,
Of course.
pre-cut square white wire that'll match the walls better than the factory wire from Bose.
Absolutely. So
But no problems there. So I'm grateful for all of those experiences that we're referring to because they got me to where I am today. I would not be sitting in this podcast talking to you right now if it was not for Bose and the Acoustimass system. So there you go.
agreed. Same trajectory here. Same thing. Dealt with that. That was one of the first. Those and new tone alarm systems, or new tone intercoms, and all those fun things from back in the day,
M&S,
right?
maybe M&S. I'm gonna throw out
M&S.
my gang signs on M&S.
Absolutely. But for real, and that is something to definitely be grateful for. I mean, I think we are absolutely grateful for our lines that frankly, kind of put up with some of these dumb hijinks that we do. Maybe
And
look the other way.
so actually, frankly, support. Well, not to toot our own horn, but to nobody else is gonna. I mean, we've got awards from one of our biggest vendor partners at Sony this year for our initiative with this podcast. So,
It's a great award.
yeah, it's not a big. Yeah, it's not from Italy. It's not fragile,
No.
but it's pretty exciting to have this. So, yeah, again, gratitude extends to your right, to the people that support us and give us the opportunity to goof around with these things and don't quietly whisper in our ears like, "Hey, you should knock that off." More to the point, like, "Tell me more about this. What are we doing? When can I be on?" That's been really fun.
Yeah, it absolutely has been. And there's big plans for this thing in the new year. maybe a different format, maybe a split channel with just kind of me and Jason BS and stuff and things with relevant information from industry leaders, perhaps on a different trajectory than ours, but with the same color. And stay tuned. We're working some things through. But specifically with that, I mean, I'd like to say that I am grateful for Keith Zieber from Elemental, Lucetta, Diode. That dude is just one of the best partners that we have. And I mean, Amy too, and Cam, and the whole team over there is great, but Keith really stands out. That guy, he is like one of the most warm people you will ever meet in your whole life, and has the best stories, bar none, out of I think anybody I've ever spent any time with in this industry. And he is just absolutely supportive. He is always, down to clown whatever idea we have. Like I think 3 episodes ago or 4 episodes ago, like literally he and Amy got in a car with us and we were like, hey, we're going to record a podcast today. And like, they were down, baby. Like,
it's funny the reaction that you get. Like I know that there are some vendors 100% into it. Other vendors, no. Right. Like, and that's fine because, different strata, different messaging, different branding. I respect all those hustles because it's not like I could go out and start the Jayson channel when I worked for the big S and put Sony logos all over it and
right.
act like I was representing them, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm this private guy that just spouts off for my brand that I work for but I don't own.
Right.
I decide what the marketing is now. Yeah, Keith and Lucetta, I think because they're looking to embrace the channel and embrace the opportunity, and that really just means embracing the people, has really, I think, put a pretty crack team together for engagement, for training, for support. They like to have fun, which, at the end of the day, a lot of our integrators sell the fun, maybe don't actually get to enjoy the fun. So I think leaning into stuff like we did with Topgolf, or I've heard that they've done K1. I've heard they've shot clay pigeons. I've heard that it's been laser tag and airsoft and off-roading. And I mean,
even just the experience of like, they're pretty, and again, we're plugging us again, but like, if you can,
get to Reno,
if you can get to Reno, like they will show you a great time, and they're down, man. It's really, it kind of harkens back to what I feel are like the old days of CI, right? Where there was a lot more that was done by manufacturers to kind of get people on board and really lift people up and get them to have a good time. And it makes sense because, you need to make linear lighting exciting, right? If you're competing against a bunch of other guys in the market and all the stuff that you can get from Amazon and Chinese and on a roll, 50 feet per roll or whatever it is, like you need to distinguish yourself and you need to become a great partner for audio video guys and custom integrators to do this. And man, I think that's, the proof is in the pudding, right? Like there's more people doing linear lighting as custom integrators now than I think, there ever have been. And man, rousing success.
There's good options now. I think back to the board on, the chip on board stuff that I used to do with like the hard bendable little LEDs on the outside. And it's like amber, like where's blue? And they're like, we can't make blue yet. I'm like,
okay.
Oh, okay. So it's amber or yellow or white or red, like that was kind of it. But the technology's improved. They've leveled up, I think, on the people side and the product side. And now with the pixel chasing stuff and all the cool custom things you can do,
so cool.
I'm looking forward to getting better with Lucetta. And I think it's one of those growth opportunities for our guys out there, but very grateful for Keith Zieber and his stories and their support in the business and all that good stuff. It's fun.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be, I think this kind of flows together, but along those same lines, as far as, people who give us an immense amount of support, whether or not we deserve it, that kind of goes to our local Sony folks. And, Kathleen and Russell, like, I know I'm trotting down this road here because you used to be part of that family. That was
you're talking about my family, bro. So settle down.
It is so rare to find, like, Kathleen is just such a great partner for us, and and for our dealers too. Like, She will tell you exactly how it is, right? Like that is, there's no fudging things. There's no wishy-washiness. There is like, hey, this is it. Here's an opportunity. Here's this. No, we can't do that, but here's something that we can do, that kind of thing. Like that is so refreshing. And let me tell you, let me put my dealer hat back on, but like that is so refreshing to talk to a manufacturer who isn't going to string you along, who isn't going to BS you, who is like there to support you and get you to exceed and blow past every milestone. It's super refreshing and just an amazing person to spend time with. Like Kathleen is just amazing.
Yeah,
Like
we
it is
have a lot
so
of
great,
fun,
man.
right? Between her and Russell, it's, again, we are kind of like a little family, behind the scenes, of course, we talk regularly, outside of work and what have you, but really is the opportunity for them to be, to circle back on our theme, the
The concierge of
concierge,
cool.
concierge is cool. I was trying to think of what the plural for that would be, but anyways, uh, they're the gateway to this gigantic company, right? Like you interface, you imagine that I'm Jason driving a van and I do enough business a year to have a direct relationship with Sony. What does that mean? Like, is it just a website I go to? Who do I talk to? To actually have like a name and a face that you can point to as people that are directly connected with this gigantic entity that you work with, that you can get your problems solved, your questions answered, that kind of cool stuff. Again, I know I'm playing for the home team here, but that was something that was always impressive to me. Even coming into the company, I was like, man, you guys are making an investment in this. Like, they clearly see a value in the premium segment that custom install represents, and I think by and large that should resonate with a lot of integrators out there.
Yeah, agreed. What else you got? Who else should we heap praise on now that
Oh
we're
man, since we're in gratitude
there's no
mode, I mean,
shortage. I mean that's really
there
the thing
really
is like
isn't.
this
I
is a
mean, we could
hard
run
thing.
through every single line that we've got.
We don't really deal with jerks, which is nice. That is something
I
I'm grateful
know,
for,
right?
you
I
know.
know. I think it's important that we take a second to call out, points of gratitude to some of our other team members that aren't on this podcast. As much as we're talking about our vendors, we've got Jesse Pauley, we've got Gerald Wilsey, we've got Peggy Harvey, we've got Greg Balhorn, who's been on this podcast, we've got Robert Dawson, who's been on this podcast. We've got John Bolin, who's not been on this podcast, but has the voice for radio better
Absolutely.
than more than anybody. They help us execute this stuff. I'm not leaving anybody out, am I?
I mean Peggy,
No, I said Peggy. I said
I
Peggy.
missed it. But yeah,
Okay.
big
Peggy Harvey.
huge shout
Yeah,
out
of course.
to
Big, huge shout out. I wouldn't have left hands or half a brain, left hand or foot or brain half the time if it wasn't for their backup and support. So, um, just want to make sure we called out some gratitude for our other teammates who are not on this call. Or I keep calling this a call, but it's a freaking podcast, knucklehead. I'm so
yeah,
used to
man.
webcasting and
And that bullet
web
point
meeting and zooming and oh my God, right? And that bullet point.
and
There we
and
go.
well, based on the pre-show, that was supposed to be the last bullet point. So I can tell that you want to wrap this up. But
No, I'm not trying to press the clock forward. I just wanted to take a break in the middle of it, and so it's not just an outpouring of love
I
for
mean,
every single vendor we've got.
you could have said anybody. You could have said the Pope. You could have said Mother Teresa. You could have said
You know
Baphomet
what?
for all I
I
care.
It could have been. Nice callback to our earlier conversation.
I'm grateful for Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd.
And Dragnet.
Yes,
Yeah. Come on.
keeping our keeping our streets safe.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see some classic '80s gold, check out Dragnet,
It's fantastic.
starring
Oh my
Dan
god.
Aykroyd and Tom Hanks, and look for the Baphomet scene, and then you'll know exactly where Chris and I are coming from right now. But on the vendor side, we've got a lot of S brands over here. We've got our partners at Sonance, Scott Foco, of course, has been on our podcast a couple of times.
Sure has.
We have made featured content about Sonance. You and I have gone there to drink from the well of excitement and experience that is the Sonance headquarters in San Clemente.
Hmm.
Kind of hard not to have them right up near or at the top of the list in
Yeah.
terms of love, in terms of here's an investment that our vendor has made to give us tools to sell from, experience to sell with. I mean, I pretty much feel like they could sell tickets to that space
Well,
and keep it
yeah,
kind of like on average fairly busy. Like I can't imagine that it's not like constantly buying tacos and beer trucks and coffee and like if I worked at Sonance like actually in the building, I would be far more grape profiled than I currently am, and it's only because of how well they treat the guests that come through there, how well they feed everybody, and hey, look out, there might be some extras. Come on over here and eat them.
yeah. I mean, specifically with Sonance, I mean, I am grateful for the Sonance vibe that
Right.
we get to we get to inform and educate dealers on this vibe and how it is. You know, it's not about the specific pieces of gear. It's not about the specs of the specific pieces of gear. It's about creating an experience for your clients and everything else. And I don't think there's another manufacturer who really imparts that and lives that better than Sonance. And that's, for me, man, that is absolutely what I'm grateful for. And just that permeates through everybody that you're going to meet, from Sonance, from Mark to Scott to Jason to all of these great people. That vibe is completely unique in this in this world that we live in, and this trade that we ply. It's amazing. It's just something to behold, and it's something I'm very grateful to be a small part of. And yeah, man, really, really great. And yes, tacos and food trucks and all of those other amazing things that
Music,
yeah,
yeah, get to go outside and have the hair on your arm stand up because they play an audio track in an audio system that you didn't even see outside before, and it sounds so good that you're like, I didn't even like what's happening, and your body just goes, I don't know, we should be scared. Arm hair stand up. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty cool.
you know how sick their neighbors must be of that bass line to
Well, that's why they keep just taking over
just
that
gotta
plaza
keep
that they're in. Just buy the next building over, you know? I
right,
mean,
right.
iPort's their neighbor and they have to yell at themselves, I guess, but I know they have a few others over there they probably need to conquer and take over and complain against yourselves, I guess. Yell at me if you want to.
Fantastic,
Love it.
fantastic. And I mean, and again, we have a lot of S brands. we
Oh, we got screen innovations with the amazing shades and projection screens, new products like the Nino, like the Nano shades. I would say the Chaos shade has been the most talked about thing
Yeah,
that
that's
we've
cool.
had on our radar since Cedia. And I would say renewed investment in partnership, right? Like
Yeah.
that's something where they've kind of changed their focus to focus more on the technical aspect of the sales department, sales side of things, and then kind of have a little bit different structure to their pyramid, which I think is more effective. And again, I'm grateful for that innovation because uh, you know I don't think it's a major secret that COVID wreaked havoc on a
Ooh,
lot of businesses and
yeah, that
caused a lot
was.
of longer term damage that might not have been initially visible at first. It's kind of like, oh cool, I bought this car, but the fender's three quarters Bondo on this
It's
one
on its
part
way, right?
or whatever,
Replacement is
right?
on
Like
its way.
a magnet does not stick to this particular part of the fender. What's going on here? But that being said, again, they're making these investments in staff and shifting personnel around and building structure to be more supportive, which I think everybody should be grateful for.
Yeah, it's that you gotta, and it's definitely reason to be grateful, because man, there's a lot out there that there's just no, like the support number goes to voicemail, the emails never get checked. That is not the
Yeah,
folks at
well,
SI for sure.
well, right. I mean, we're not trying to lump people together here, but we've got some killer brands. Like
Yeah,
we've got some great products and some solutions across the board. We've got from AV to furniture to screens to shades to lights to audio to hi-fi to I mean, what else am I missing here? Oh, of course, networking. Like,
yep,
what are we talking about? We've got one of the biggest products on the friggin' planet with Eero in our back pocket.
true.
Uh, Here's my 2-second plug. Thank you, Eero, for sending me this cool gateway router thing to play with to make my Josh AI work. But secondarily, like, what a ridiculously easy system to configure and get up and set up to be, uh, I would say, shockingly robust for the price point
Yeah.
that we're talking about here. Been amazing. So
Yeah.
there's my 2 second plug for
And
Josh and for Eero. Thank you guys both for these solutions.
in line with that, I am thankful for demo units because
Right.
that is a real nice thing. I mean, I don't know if I'd specifically call it a perk because it is definitely it's in a manufacturer's best interest for us to be very familiar with
It's
the
a live
product.
solution that I show people the app on my phone constantly. I can see the status of the speed of my network. I can show how I have my kids' computers partitioned and TVs partitioned, and I can manage the internet cycles and all of that stuff at will. So, I mean, we don't talk about Eero a whole lot on here because they're a massive marketing entity on their own. But I think it's just cool to have cool partners, and I'm grateful for that. Right? Just
Yeah,
it's ridiculous to have us like,
and who doesn't like free stuff, free technology, right? Like that is a
well,
nice
it's
thing
not
to
free for everybody, but for you and me,
well,
it's
you
cool.
know, for to be able again, going back to what I was talking about before you put in a commercial for Eero, yeah, it's nice to be able to get demo gear. Like that is really
100%.
cool, and you know, consider this my appeal for more. Um, but
Yeah. Well,
you
we want
know,
to make videos about it. We want to be able to do demos with it. So send it our way.
yeah,
Right.
it's huge, and it's definitely something I'm grateful for. I mean, it's
Send
every
me that
time
True Vision. Send me that True Vision all in one
I'll take.
on the what was that, the 160-inch one? That sounds just about right, doesn't it? All pre-built on a frame with wheels underneath it. Roll
Yeah,
that baby
man,
around like,
you got it. Yeah,
hey now.
that's another thing. Yeah, we've brought on True Vision as a line.
Cool.
They make large format displays and they kick ass. Right price point, great performance. Stay tuned for more information about those guys. We'll be sending some stuff around once the dust settles a little bit. And
Well, there's the
yeah,
segue, right? We should be grateful for all of these new vendors taking the time to give us a shot, right? So when you think about Josh AI, maybe not a new vendor, but kind of newly reinvigorated into the scene here, like
yeah,
making moves, making waves. We've got Brilliance LED. Am I
hmm,
saying that right?
yep,
Okay. Of course, we've got Lightheaded. We got Lightline. We've got Mad VR. We've got, again, now brand new to us, True Vision.
yep,
So
yeah, good
everything
stuff.
that you could ever imagine for a full-on luxury home. I'm grateful to all of these vendors for giving us an opportunity to give these solutions to prevent to our dealers to make a buck on, right? Like offer cool solutions. I want to have our name collectively, whether that's my name, your name, the manufacturer's name, tied to the coolest projects that we can get associated with. So
Yep.
grateful to all the dealers out there for
Oh,
their love and support of us.
well,
You know.
I mean that's the biggest thing of all. I mean,
See how I did that?
I am
I
so
teased
grateful.
it. I teased it with our team, and then I wanted to come in with a big thank you at the end and just, of course, let our dealer network know, our supporters know, our listeners know. We are literally not here unless you guys need us.
Yeah,
So, thank you.
the easily the best part of my job is being able to interact with dealers, and you know that was pretty apparent a few weeks ago when I got to meet dealers from all three of our territories in the span of 3 days at Top Golf and these events, and like man, just every
Man,
we got such great dealers. They're out there. And again, I'm biased because I mean I was a dealer not too long ago and kindred spirits with most, and man, there are guys out there doing amazing things, and just the stones to start a business and base it on this weird fickle world of residential technology and deal with you know people's homes and construction schedules and subcontractors and trying to find you know people who are qualified to work for you and who share your vision and that kind of thing. I mean, just the absolute stones that somebody has to start a business and do that kind of thing. Man, completely grateful. And, you know,
100%.
specifically for the dealers that we have in all of our territories, they're all great. Everybody's, I mean, man, just across the board, we got some real winners and super
Customer
grateful.
service, technical skill, sales capability, what do we call it? Psychoanalyst, um,
Therapist.
a therapist, bartender, muse, financial enabler. Like, think about all of the different roles that integrators fill for customers, let alone what they're trying to do for themselves and their personal lives. Whether they go
Oh
to
yeah.
church, whether they're in community service, whether they're out racing cars on the weekends, or God knows, right? The
Yep.
fact that we get hours out of their day to bring people in to talk to them about solutions that they may not even be interested in sometimes, or just giving us the time of day when it's like, hey man, you want to go grab lunch, or you want to talk about these opportunities? What can we do to help you? Like, they're open to hearing pitches
Yep.
from our team and connecting vendors with opportunities. And for that, again, I got to say, truly grateful and
Truly.
humbled that you guys answer the phone, answer emails and stuff for the most part when I call.
And I'm glad that you saved the best for last, because that is truly the best part of
Absolutely.
this whole thing is getting to find ways to help people and help grow businesses and see what people have built with their businesses, and it is just so gratifying to see. But let's take a detour here, and before we wrap up, what is your Jason? What's your quintessential Thanksgiving dish? What is your like? What's not Thanksgiving without this certain thing? And if you say
I
it's
mean,
like PSB speakers, I'm gonna be pissed, because this is
no,
the
it's we did the chili bit. I mean, honestly, for me, it's got to be mashed potatoes and gravy. Like, I mean, seriously, if you're talking about, I mean, how do you build a house without a foundation?
it's true.
Let's start there.
It's the mashed potatoes are really the glue that really
It's a
just
brick, it's a mortar, it's a glue, it's a lot of different things, and it's really just a vessel for more gravy, which is honestly,
it's
with my
true.
Canadian and Irish heritage combined, is it's done. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be cornstarch, there's going to be some sort of dripping and brown flour and salt and pepper. Get to it, kid. Like,
Absolutely.
that's what it's going to be. So yeah, for me, like, honestly, I don't really give a damn about turkey or a lot of those other sides or traditions. For me, it's got to absolutely be mashed potatoes and gravy. What about you?
I'm kind of on the same boat. I'm mashed potatoes and gravy are a must. Those are table stakes. Again, growing up Italian,
But can you
maybe
imagine them not being on the table?
no,
That's
no.
what
I
I'm saying.
would
Like, you're like, what?
I'd leave.
I'd
I'd
leave.
flip the table over and
Yeah,
walk
fuck
out.
this. Oh, sorry. Oops.
I'm grateful for editing and post.
Yeah. Boop.
But no, it's growing up, I would have said, just because of how I grew up, ziti at Thanksgiving was always a thing, right? So you had your 20-pound bird with your entire family there, and then there's
Ah,
your aunt makes like a 5-pound sled of ziti, but that hasn't really been a thing since we've been out here. But now it's
no, of course not.
my wife makes an amazing she makes this it's not even really Thanksgiving dinner, but it's kind of like part of the appetizer thing. She makes two things, and one of them is a crab ball. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's basically a ball of crab meat and terrible things for you, and it's just slathered in
Cream cheese and
cream cheese and cocktail sauce or whatever. So like that's the big red ball. Like it doesn't feel like Thanksgiving unless that's like floating around and everybody's getting loaded in watching football in anticipation of it. But the other thing is, like, my wife makes this stuffing that is like I couldn't even tell you what's in it. I have no idea. I get thrown out of the kitchen until it's time to like carve the bird up, which that's my job. And keep the kids the hell out of there so that they don't get killed. But the man stuffing, like the my wife's stuffing is
man, you're making me so
fantastic.
hungry right
I,
now.
I know.
I saw that pork roll logo the other day, and I
Oh,
was like, man, I'm about to eat my phone right now. I'm hungry. But the yeah, you're. I mean, I haven't eaten anything yet today, so I'm thinking it
that's
might be time. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. Stuffing is one of those dishes that can be really like hit or miss, but like when it's on, it's like I'm
Oh,
gonna eat an obnoxious amount of bread and onions and Jimmy Dean sausage or whatever, celery, whatever is mixed into
oh
this. I'm
yeah,
gonna smash it. What is that? Rye bread pumpernickel? Come on, son.
right in there.
It's over,
So
right? Like,
festive.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm like you. It's just us out here. We're kind of on an island for Thanksgiving, so it's probably going to be something small. But when I grew up in my teenage years, had lots of different ethnicities in terms of friendship trees and stuff. So it was you gotta go by Uncle Matt's house for for the Italian vibe. So stop in. Like there's no not getting a plate of
Right.
lasagna ziti, maybe some kind of you know veal cutlet or chicken cutlet or whatever is
Right.
just gonna
Just
be on your plate. Like I'm like I just ate, and they're like, "Shut up, kid,
and there's
eat."
still turkey.
Yeah, and there's still turkey and gravy and all that nine. And then of course we go, to some of my other buddy's house, and it's like Jewish Thanksgiving is like a totally different vibe,
Totally.
but like just as delicious, and they're drinking just as much wine and having just as good a time, probably better. Like I don't know. Those are all the things that I guess I just tie a bow on all of this is,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for all that experience and, all the friends and family and stuff that we've got out there. I know we were going to start there, but here's where we finish.
Right.
I think put the horse properly in front of the cart, as
Yeah.
opposed to behind it.
We're I mean we've been out here on the West Coast. My whole family's back east. We've been out here on the West Coast for about 6 years. This be coming up on 6 years. And this is this Thanksgiving, my mom and my stepdad are coming out. We're gonna have my wife's family here. And the conundrum that we have is that we live in a condo in Southern California, and we don't eat meals at a dinner table. So we don't have anything appropriate for this. So we are absolutely going to eat Thanksgiving dinner on our front porch, hoping that the forecast is for 65 degrees and sunny on Thanksgiving, which again, sorry, don't mean to rub that in. It doesn't really feel like Thanksgiving, but we're going to do it. And it'll be nice. It'll be nice to have everybody around the same table. And, I'm grateful for that.
You post up in the garage with a couple of Costco tables, or what do you do?
No, we're going. I mean, I built a very my porch is weird because it's a lot of dead space, but it's completely covered, and there's like a lot of dead space out there, and we're not really like put patio furniture out front kind of people.
Ah,
So during the pandemic, for whatever reason we bought our house right at the beginning of the pandemic, and for my pandemic project, I built a 12-person table. And it's massive and it's great, and it's got a big bench seat and it's nice. It's on our porch, let the kids eat ice cream on it and do whatever, and like you can play board games and stuff, and it kind of really makes it like part of our home. And
sure.
to have everybody, especially my folks
Oh,
from
that'll be
Jersey
awesome, man.
who are out here to,
Oh, they'll be losing their flipping minds.
eating Thanksgiving outside, waving at neighbors, all that stuff. I'm pretty stoked about that. So definitely grateful for the chance to be able to do that. And really more than anything though, we are grateful for you, our listeners. All eight of you or whatever it is.
Like and subscribe. No, we've been getting some views. We
And
can get some
we've been
clicks.
spiking it up. Yeah. So
So yeah, tell your friends. Even if they just subscribe and don't ever listen, that's okay. But we appreciate the love and support. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram at inside_integration on the gram. Send me a DM, send me a message, leave us a comment on the YouTube videos. Tell us some
yeah,
videos you'd like to see.
you
Oh,
guys should never do a holiday show again.
yeah, well, that's
Okay,
fair.
I'll
Well,
take it.
fair point. Fair point.
We got
Well,
another one coming up in less than a month because Christmas is real close this year. So
oh man, we got to get some theme music and got to get Snoopy booked for that one.
it's gonna be what's gonna be great about it. We did about a year ago when we started this. We did a half-hour power hour with Scott Foco, and it was right in December, right around Christmas time, and all of the all of the different effects for the call that I did were like it was all snowy and like whatever. So yeah, maybe we'll just put a snow filter on this thing and pretend we're being festive.
Yeah,
It'll be
well,
great.
and stay tuned for updates on our developments as well as others out there in the industry. I can't say everything will be as gangbusters as the latest news with Macintosh and Bose, but when we hear about it, I'm sure we'll talk about it and chop it up. So I
Yep.
guess with that, we're going to say thank you and sign off here. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, and we are grateful to you. Have a safe holiday.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye.